Hello, hello, Facebookers. It is ridiculously late. I keep saying I'm going to do a live stream and it doesn't happen until super late in the evening, apart from you guys stateside. But here in the UK, it's like 25 to midnight. And apparently this is my 25th broadcast, which actually doesn't seem like very much. So I'll maybe congratulate myself on the 50th. So anyway, today's live stream is not about split intentions like I was going to talk about, because there's something much bigger and deeper, not broader, but deeper, that I want to talk about, that has absolutely been prevalent in a lot of my conversations with friends and family, and also with my coaching clients. It's been something that has been channeling through me so strongly, so unbelievably strongly, really the last few days, that I felt called to share. And this thing is about your inner child calling out to you. So a lot of you have probably heard of working with your inner child, but I kind of view it in sort of three levels or three stages of an inner voices. So we're not just one person. We are made up of a collection of thoughts and beliefs which manifest themselves as voices inside of us. And the way for us to become aligned is by bringing those voices into alignment, is by sort of having a dominant, compassionate, connected adult voice that we've cultivated within, that looks after all of the other voices underneath, right? All the other ones that go on. If we don't have a compassionate voice, then we will play out as each of these characters in our lifetime, and they will probably change depending on who they're with. So we're probably a different person with a friend than we are with our family, or we are with our partner. And on some level, we can't help that. But a lot of it is actually because we don't have this conscious connected voice that we've cultivated that absolutely connects us to our heart. We just kind of play out as the character, whichever character we've learned to be in whatever situation with whoever we're with, right? This is why it's really hard a lot of the time. Your family are the biggest task, because it's really hard to go back and be with your family for a period of time and not become that child that you were when you lived with them. Every person goes through that. It's really difficult. Unless you've done your inner work. So this is why I was calling the live stream The Only Way Is In, because the only way to go through with your, go through stuff, your shit, your crap, and your painful places, right? It's not really shit and crap, it's the pain, it's the woundings. The only way to deal with it is to go within and connect with this inner child. Now, what has come up in some of the conversations that I've been having is that maybe people don't really understand how to cultivate this adult knowing voice. And I tried to explain to someone yesterday that it's actually quite easy. It's not the big work that, because we call it inner work, but it's not the big work that we mistake it to be. Sure, it's going to be messy, right? Children wear nappies. Toddlers wear nappies, right? There's going to be mess, right? Toddlers can't eat very well. We have to help them. There is going to be mess. But as an adult, it's relatively easy for us to do that stuff, to help a child out in that situation. All it really takes is your adult self to go and sit next to your child self and listen. Listen and empathize and connect, and not deny, diminish, dismiss. That's what we need to do. And one thing that came up yesterday was that this adult self, if we don't cultivate this compassionate adult, if we don't have that voice helping us inside to be a better person, to be more adult and navigate life, we default into the voice that is usually our parents' voice or our caregiver's voice, dominant voices that have told us we can't do things, or dominant voices that have parented us at a younger age, and we then play this out within our own psyche. So if you've been abused in any form, if you've been abandoned in any form by your parents or your caregivers, you are going to replay that out within yourself, and it will show up in your outer world. Now, when your inner child plays up, okay, within, the inner child resides in the body. So it's not in the head so much, it's in your body. Your inner child can be playing out if you have stomach issues, where your emotional brain is. You can feel it as pain or sensations in your body. You could get problems like eczema, psoriasis, acne. Your inner child will talk to you about how it's feeling through your body. So that's one big clue. It can also manifest itself as anxiety, depression, lack of self-worth, all of these things. It can manifest itself as negative traits in the body. Your parent will manifest itself as whatever you do to ignore that child. So that might be even using meditation as a way to block out the feeling. It could be any addictions that you may have. So addictions also fall into this category. So any addictions could be smoking, drinking, it could be having sex with lots of people. Any addictions, we're just squashing it, squashing it, squashing it, squashing it. I don't want to feel it. I don't want to know. I don't want to feel it. I don't want to know. So it's really important that we learn how to cultivate a caring adult. There's actually a really good video. It's Brené Brown who speaks on empathy, and she did a study on, she's a researcher, and she studied shame and empathy and vulnerability. And there's a girl who actually took Brené's TED talk and created it into a video. You can find it on YouTube. It's all about empathy, and it's actually a really good way to see whether you are empathizing with yourself or not, and with other people. In it, there's a little fox, I think, who falls down into this big black hole, and a bear who goes in with her and is with her and is empathizing. I've been here before. I know how you feel. I know how this feels. It's crap. I'm here with you. That's the voice that you want to cultivate inside. It's not, as in the video, the gazelle who comes down and says, oh, it doesn't matter. Don't worry about that. You know, you're going to be fine. And is dismissive, in denial of the feeling. Deny, deny, deny. If you have people in your world like this, don't be around people like that. be around empathic people who are willing to support you. Make those people make less time in your life for those people. But back to my point. My point is that you have to cultivate this inner, caring, compassionate, adult, parenting person in your world, or you will play out some kind of tantrum. And your tantrum, as your inner child, could look like anger. It could look like sadness, lots of crying, victim thinking. It could be not being able to manifest things in your world, not being able to, create finances or move forward in life. It could be broken relationships. It could be constantly arguing with someone. It could be constantly having negative thinking about other people, like other people just are crap. I used to say when I was young that I wasn't a people person, which I think is so funny because it's so different now. But I just couldn't. I just had this thing about people. But I think I was about 12. That's terrible. But that was obviously my inner child was wounded. And just in case you think you've escaped, we all have a wounded inner child. We are not evolved yet to have all of the parents on the planet conscious and connected. So all of us have some kind of wounding. Some of us more than others. I'm not trying to say that a person who was shouted at as a child is the same as someone who was abused sexually or physically. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that no matter who you are a person who will have some kind of wound. It might be abandonment, it might be abuse, it might be emotional abuse, it might not be physical, it might be that you didn't have a parent, you might have lost a parent and feel abandoned, it might be adopted, it could be a number of things, and the thing is, your inner child is always just looking for you. We make the mistake of thinking that we're looking for someone else. So sometimes we make the mistake of believing that, we're this way because our parents didn't love us, or we're this way because, they didn't care, or they didn't push us to be somebody, or whatever it is that goes on in your head. But your inner child isn't actually looking for them. Your inner child is only always looking for you. Some of us do this by looking for relationships. Some of us do this by looking for accolade and celebrity. More and more and more I see people doing that. Some of us look for status. It could be their financial wealth. Their inner child is constantly looking for safety, support, to be cared for. And it manifests itself in ways that are kind of, I want to say, unappealing. And we just miss the signs. We miss the signs. So we all have this wounded inner child, and the way that you can find out what is going on is just by sitting with yourself and listening. So when you kick off, whichever way you're kicking off, if it's just your anger at somebody, when you feel, I call this when you're triggered. So when you notice a trigger, instead of acting out on the trigger, the first thing that you do is you sit down and you say to yourself, I know that I'm triggered. What is the trigger? You can write it out. You can write down, my trigger is, this person abandoned me, or this person wasn't really being a friend, or this person shouted at me, right, wherever it is, and I felt like they didn't care about me, or I wanted to punch them on the nose, right? And then you sit with the emotion of it, and you don't deny it, and you don't push it away. You don't try and feign positivity. You just sit with it. You don't wallow in it, because that's the other way people go. Sometimes you can wallow in it like a wounded child. Wallow, wallow, wallow. Don't do that, right? We're not hippos, so we don't want to wallow in it. We just want to acknowledge it. And then you listen. Listen to the voice. Listen to what it says. Go deeper with it. Listen to it saying, I don't feel loved. I don't feel cared for. I remember this time that this thing happened. Look, this person's also done the same as that person. Listen to all the things. Write it down. And then go back. Imagine that you're sitting as the adult with your inner child. And you take that child's hand, whichever the child will let you do, because sometimes when you visualize these things, the child is afraid of you. The child doesn't trust you yet because you haven't been the adult that took care of it. You've been the adult that's ignored it. So the child is very likely not to trust you because you haven't followed through on your commitment to him or her. So you ask for the trust. So if the child is willing to sit with you, that's awesome. Or you can hold it if it will let you. And then you basically tell your inner child, I'm here for you. I love you. And I'm so sorry that I abandoned you. And I won't abandon you anymore. I will do my very best to hear you when you speak to me. When I get a pain in my body, I'll know that you're talking to me. When I have a pain in my stomach and my stomach's bloated, I'll know you're talking to me. When I have a pain in my chest, I know you're speaking to me. When I have tingles in my arms or pains in my arms, I know that you want to be held. I can hear you. I know you can speak to me. And the more that you do that, the more that your inner child will trust you and believe in you. When I did this work a long time ago, and I didn't really do it that extensively, but it was enough for me to witness what was going on within. I was having terrible pains in my arms and I felt really lonely. And I learned that that was a signal that I needed to be taking care of me. So do this inner work, I actually have an inner child meditation somewhere that I did on Periscope a long time ago. I think I will find that and I'll post it underneath this so you guys can go through it and see what comes up for you and see if you can connect to that inner child and really, really let it hear that you want to take care of it and love it, and that you are never going to let anyone cross your boundaries. You're never going to let anyone hurt you, and you'll only accept people in your world who love you as much as you do, which means you need to love you a lot, okay? Because other people are only going to love you as much as you allow them to love you, you know, and we all make mistakes in life. I've done this. So please do that. I feel very called to share it because I think there are people on here at the moment, and I'm sure people who will watch it who will resonate with this. So become your most amazing parent. Be the parent that you would want to be for your children, and parent yourself, because your inner child needs you. And I'm just the voice telling you that your inner child has been asking for you for so unbelievably long, all of your life, for you to come and actually take care of it. So listen to it and stop looking outside for other people to validate why you should love yourself. You go in and love yourself. So I'm going to leave it at that, and I will come back and I will do a live stream on split intentions, and maybe do that tomorrow. I'll see what comes up. I am going to try and structure out the live streams. I'm finding structure a bit of a difficult thing at the moment because I've been doing lots of calls with people, with friends and with clients and family on this stuff right now. As you can tell, my throat is kind of croaky, a bit dry, because I've been talking so much. So I will tune in with you guys tomorrow. And if you're not following me already, then I'm Gail, and I'm an intuitive soul coach, and this is now what I'm doing. I'm helping people to connect with their inner child and to clear out the stuff that is stopping them connecting with their higher selves. And hello, Chad, how are you doing? Thanks for joining me. I'm just about to drop off, so please tune in from the beginning once this comes up on the replay. So please follow me. There's a little button on here. And if you feel called to share with anyone who might need this, then please share away. And I shall be back with you tomorrow. All right. I shall see you soon. Mwah.